tips for young DJs would be patience, probably. Play the long game, don't rush into anything, and don't feel like you're having to do everything all at once. A bit of a veteran now in this scene, I guess, having touring for kind of nearly 20 years, I would say that patience is the key, you know, and have a kind of, it's not always easy because sometimes people pop off really, really quickly and things happen overnight, it almost seems. But just try and ride that wave consistently rather than too many spikes, because, you know, gradually walking up a hill is a lot more successful than, you know, jumping straight to the top and then falling back down the other side, you know. But they say, don't they, that anything that's an overnight success probably isn't an overnight success. It's been building up to that point, you know. But yeah, you've just got to be patient, which is hard because it feels like, especially with social media and people's attention spans, that everything is so reactive. Of if you don't catch people in 3-4 seconds, they're gone, you know. But yeah, I think overall patience is key with this, you know, this industry.
I want y'all to think about something for a second. DJing is truly an act from God, right? We take our two hands and our imagination and we shift the vibe in the room. We create energy, and we're also making memories memorable for all the attenders in the party. That's something that should be held sacred. DJing is an act of selflessness. It's not always about how we feel, even though we have preferences, but it's about the people. So understand this, doctors heal the body, therapists heal the mind, but the DJ heals the spirit. And it's not about clout, it's about calling. And when God calls you to help people heal through sound, that's sacred. Don't take for granted. Peace.
Creatives, you should stop making content. In fact, you should stop making art, for your peers, that is. They're not your assignment, and they're not your audience. You should make art for the people who love your art.
You ain't ready to put 5 years of grind into anything without making a quarter.
Right.
Don't even start. Sometimes it takes that long to get over the hump. They not ready.
I think a lot of people go through this thing where if they share information, they're going to lose their business. They're going to lose their edge. Two things are true in this world. One, there's only one you, and nobody can do what you do. Even if they try to copy you one for one, it's never the same. And then two, most people that you give information to won't actually take you up on your information. I could tell people right now how to start a business from scratch, all the pitfalls and all the things you should and you shouldn't do. And you know what? 2% will actually take my advice and use it. The rest of them either know better than me or are too lazy to make it happen.
Before it's time to spin, you've got to first cue it up.
I'm probably in your area too. Everybody who owns a laptop, they're a DJ. Everybody who owns a DSL camera, they're a photographer.
And what I'll do is put up blurbs so therefore you can see what I'm thinking about and why I chose that song. You can see the reaction of the kids. So you can kind of like get an idea of how to use it and what to expect.
Why do you want to charge for something that you have the knowledge of and these other DJs don't have the knowledge of? Share your knowledge, you know? Right. But DJing's a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of work, but it is a lot of fun too, you know? I'm DJ Mikie Mike. I cover central, northeastern Pennsylvania, southeastern Pennsylvania, parts of New Jersey, parts of New York State.
And I'm Dwayne Dixon, the HitmanDDub from Cleveland, Ohio. And it's time to cue it up. Okay, what's up, everyone? And I'd like to welcome everyone back to another episode of the Cue It Up DJ podcast. And tonight we have an extra person, an extra guest, a special guest joining us tonight. And he goes by the name DJ Reese. And then also we have our other guest from last week, DJ Cool Thing. And then, of course, you have your two hosts, me, Dwayne Dixon, the HitmanDDub, and my friend DJ Mikie Mike. And I'd like to piggyback on one thing that Cleveland Terry forgot to mention. The 1% that actually listens and takes the advice from other people, there's a small fraction of that 1% that actually goes out and be consistent with it. They may start, but a few of them actually see it through. So, again, this is a podcast where DJs of all walks of life and also music lovers and vendors come to connect, learn, and grow. From pro tips to real talk, we're here to support and celebrate the DJ community. And in our last episode, here are our 3 key takeaways. You don't need fancy gear to start streaming or creating video. You can use something as simple as your phone, something that everyone pretty much has nowadays. And the cameras on those phones have been way better now than in the past. So you can take good videos from those phones. And also, second thing is be mindful of your purpose of your video. Are you trying to impress another DJ, or are you trying to inform potential clients? And your third thing is consistency, authenticity, and have a strategy and as far as posting to build up your brand. So those were the 3 main takeaways from last week. So before we get into our show, DJ Reese, I'll give you a chance to tell us, our listeners and viewers, about yourself.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? DJ Reese here of No Stress Zone Entertainment, corporate events DJ. Man, just been matching the brands, matching the music for brands for the last 18 years, elevating corporate events, and making people's brands really pop out with targeted music. Also podcasting as well, voiceover talent too for a couple brands like Delaware Lottery, T-Mobile, Old Navy. And those are the things I've been doing for the last, 18 years. So it's a pleasure to be on the Cue It Up podcast. Appreciate y'all having me here.
All right, no problem. Because it's funny, when I first met him, the last thing on my mind was doing a podcast. Because I'm not a talker, but things happen, and then here we are. I see Buddy's in the chat. What's up, Buddy?
Hey, buddy, how you doing, sir?
Yep. So anybody got anything coming up? I know Cool Thing has something tomorrow. So you want to tell us what you got going?
Sure. Tomorrow I have a DJ gig at a fireworks store called Crazy Sam's Fireworks right here in Garden City from 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. So I'm going to be DJing for 8 hours, and I'll be playing background music while the customers shop and grit their fireworks. And I will be playing a whole bunch of, 4th of July music, like patriotic music. I'm going to pop, a little bit of old school and new school rock and hip hop and, R&B and everything I can find in my DJ library.
Okay.
Cool.
What about you two?
Saturday I have a 4th of July party, and it's a great 4th of July party. There's probably about 150 to 200 guests there. They have a big, giant, full, big backyard, and it's play it loud. Mm-hmm. And they want to hear rock. They want to hear dance music. No EDM, basically almost like wedding music, but they want to hear a lot of AC/DC, 80s hair band music. Mm. So the louder I can get it, the better off I am. So I'm not sure if I'm going to take my 18-inch subs with me or my 12-inch subs with me. but we're gonna make it loud for them.
Okay, what about you, Reese?
All right, so the 11th, I got a Lidl grand opening in Newark, Delaware. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Bear, Delaware. And then July 12th, I have an Ashley Furniture brand activation event, and that's in Whitehall, Pennsylvania.
And
Okay.
not too far from me.
Yep.
Yeah. Stop on by, man. 12 to 5.
I actually have DJ the 11th and 12th too.
Nice, man.
So we having our family get together tomorrow. So I'll be DJing, or you could say I'll be practicing because next week I'm doing a fireworks show for Kevin in Shelby, Ohio, and it's like a bicycle fireworks kind of festival, and then at night we got the fireworks. So I guess I'll be trying to get my playlist and trying to see what I'm going to play next week. So that's what I got going. And then the following week is our church reopening. I shouldn't say reopening. They call it re-entry because our church was getting worked on. And so I'll be doing our back to the church festival the following weekend.
Cool.
Yep.
That's cool.
Good sign for the 4th of July, that fireworks display, is Madison Rising Star Spangled Banner. I don't know if you ever heard that version.
All right. You said who?
Madison Rising.
Madison Rising. And
Excellent. It's excellent. It's a rock version of Star Spangled Banner.
Okay. So is it? So describe it, because I know. Was it Jimi Hendrix? Did he do like a Star Spangled Banner kind of thing too?
His was a Star Spangled, but it's more like just all his was his guitar. There was no lyrics. This is the lyrics in this, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a veteran that actually sings the song.
Okay.
He's in Madison Rising. It's just an excellent. It has a slow intro into it, and then all of a sudden it just explodes, and it explodes right through the whole song.
Okay. And let's see. Buddy says, "You got fireworks?" So I don't have fireworks. What about you, Cool Thing? Since you're at the fireworks store.
Yeah, we got plenty of fireworks.
Okay. And then he says, if I was closer, I would come and hang. I would bring the iced coffee for you. And then he says, no. Yeah, because you said it's an 8-hour gig from 4 to 12?
8-hour gig. Yeah, from 5 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
But I won't get home until 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
That's a line, baby.
I know.
And then he says he has no weddings until August, just working on stuff. Okay, cool. Yeah, he had a nice little setup, and because he showed us some pictures and videos from his wedding, and in fact he posted it. I know on Facebook. I believe it's under the DJ Roundtable help desk. So it's the way that he did the lighting, and then the room was long, and it's like an old theater, and it was white. So the way that he did his lighting, the lighting kind of like popped. So I like the way that he did that. All right, so it's time to get into tonight's episode. And today's episode being that this is the summer Blockbusters, and we're picking up from where we left off last week. So I guess you can say this is a sequel. So it's the Streambusters Part 2, the sequel. So we'll still be talking about video like promotion, but we're gonna add a little twist to it since we're going off the Ghostbusters theme. We're going to be busting myths. So I looked up 7 myths that people have as far as being a successful DJ pre-pandemic. And then we're going to see if those myths still holds true in 2025. So before we start, let's establish what in your opinion, what makes a successful DJ? Or in your eyes, what makes you successful? Because I'm thinking, for me, if I'm successful, that means I'm getting consistent gigs. Because it's like I'm trying to transition from being a bedroom DJ, doing it as a hobby and turning it into a business. So just getting that consistent work is, to me, that I'm being successful, because I'm doing, in each year, if I can show that I'm getting more bookings and that annual income is increasing, it may not be a lot, but at least a little bit counts. And before you know it, when I can look back in a few years and be like, I couldn't imagine getting from this point to where I'm at now. Even looking at some of my old gig vlogs or just pictures of when I first started DJing, looking at the equipment and the way my setup is looking now compared to back then. So to me, being successful, it just means having consistent work, making people happy. So what about anybody else?
I'll jump in.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
I think success, that varies. Some people, a lot of gigs, consistent gigs is success. With some people, it's maybe less gigs but charging more, or the different type of gig is a success. So in my case, I was DJing a lot, like pre-pandemic, anywhere from 15 to 20 times a month. Now I'm DJing anywhere from 5 to 8 times a month, making double than what I was making, more in that corporate lane, but like 4-figure, 5-figure ticket. And I feel like that for me is success. Like not taking 20 gigs, and even with the 20 gigs, I was still making less than what I'm doing now corporate. Because when I was doing the 20 gigs, that can look from anywhere to elementary schools, private events, anything like weddings. But now it's like I changed the clientele. The website is different, emphasizing certain things that I have done, and then kind of really leaning on who I want to DJ for, what does it look like, and then also for that client that I'm DJing for, can I actually use this content to get other gigs? Can I actually show somebody like, hey, this is what my gigs actually look like, and they're like, oh well, he can really bring my event to life. So again, I think it looks different for everybody. Sometimes maybe more gigs is success, but for me, it's more the more pay I'm getting, and even if it's less gigs, to me that's very successful, because I'm 39, but I'm not trying to say DJ 20 times a month unless it's like I'm getting a serious bag each time, because again, I feel like, the longer you're in this, I'd want to do gigs that are actually very meaningful, but clients that actually respect my time and respect what I bring to the table.
So how did you make that transition from, you said you were doing a lot of private events, because let me ask you 2 questions. The first one, you've done weddings before?
Yeah, so DJ over 10 years of weddings, just retired, don't stop doing weddings.
So because a lot of people say the money is where the wedding, it's in the wedding, during the weddings. So in your opinion, which one is the corporate ones? Is that where the real money is, or is it the wedding, or it depends?
It really depends. I mean, of course, more than likely, it should be where the weddings are at. But then again, I know DJs personally who do weddings for only, maybe like 800. I know some who do for 1,200. I know some who are like premium high ticket 4,500. So it really depends on how you sell yourself, what can you bring to the table. Also, reputation, reviews matter. If your name is ringing as you're that guy or girl who really does your thing during weddings, then I feel like you shouldn't have a problem charging a certain amount that you feel you're worth, that will get you paid. But again, I've done corporate events close to 10,000 and multiple in a year. I would probably never, not probably, I wouldn't get that for a wedding. So for me, I started making more the more I started doing corporate events, really tailoring my brand, my website to really corporate, what it's supposed to look like, making sure I'm meeting my target audience. Like if I go do a grocery store, knowing that it's 7 in the morning or 6 in the morning to 12, I know it's people probably are not 30, 20 years old shopping. They're probably more on the lines of 50 and up and higher. So make sure I'm matching the energy, matching the type of music that people in their 50s and 60s would like to listen to, that would make them want to shop and stay in the store longer. Because usually they say if the music's good and it comes to retail, your client, your customer is going to stay in the store longer and they're eventually going to purchase. So again, I think it really depends on how you're selling yourself and how do you market yourself. But for most people, of course, the weddings are probably going to pay more. For me, when I got more into corporate, that paid me way more than doing weddings.
Okay, so how did you make that transition from, you had said you were doing private events, and then you went into corporate, and did you just automatically just start promoting yourself and seeking out the corporate gigs, or was there like a progression that helped you get your foot in the door?
All right, so let me be quite frank with you. I did a little bit of everything, man. I was in the clubs too, schools. I've DJ all type of events. I did bar mitzvahs too as well. But I still have this gig though. But I do 9/11 every day. I mean, not every day, every year in New York from 9/11 and 9/12. That pays me a great amount of money. I meet a lot of great clients like Morgan Stanley, Delta Airlines, etc. But the more I started doing, like I do Assign Me Cookies, the more I started doing corporate, I told myself, hey, this is what I like. This is the type of music I like to play. These are the type of people I do want to be around, as far as if I want to venture off into other things, not just music. I can actually, have conversations with people who are establishing themselves in other ways of business, that I can incorporate that in what I'm doing. But I've always done corporate walks, weddings, bar mitzvahs. I've done it, literally everything. But once I really started getting paid well, then I started turning down a lot of private events, things that didn't really match my budget. If I'm gonna come out with $10,000 worth of DJ gear, there's no reason why I'm gonna go to an event for 4 hours for 500 or 600. It doesn't make any sense. If something breaks, I'm not making enough money to replace something, at the end of the day. And I can do a private event, cool, but is this going to actually get me booked? Like, what does this private event look like at the end of the day? Is it just people, hanging out in the backyard, drinking Heineken and, I don't know, eating shrimps or whatever? Is this really going to make a client want to book me? Or so a lot of things really, really matter. But for me, I just positioned myself as corporate. Also, I worked in radio too, so I had advertising clients. I had people who were able to, refer me, pass my information over. I really honed down on building up my Google business, so making sure I have my reviews. My reviews are solid. I'm also heavy on LinkedIn too as well. I get bookings from LinkedIn, so I make sure I make content about, event professionals and things they expect from us DJs, or what it's like to work with an event planner, or how an event should look like. So just making that content for those who hire DJs, those are some of the things I've done to kind of really position myself in that corporate lane.
Oh, okay. So is this basically just positioning yourself, just going out there and going at those gigs that bring faces and, people to see who you are, where you at, as opposed
That's
to...
one. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, because I'm talking.
No, that's one, but also too, it's like if I'm a DJ in someone's backyard and then I'm going to DJ an award show, I need to make sure I'm dressing like I'm going to a DJ award show. So I'm not going to dress the same as if I'm DJing someone's cookout. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing. Even for me, I'll say this: when I started to shave my face, I started to also get more gigs. People were more, they actually wanted to come up and speak to me. When I got rid of the beard and everything, and I was one of those guys, oh, I'm never cutting my beard. But I actually read a few things, watched a few videos in sales about, the beard. I guess for some people, they say it makes you less trustworthy. Usually people who their beard is shaved, they make probably 15 to 20% more than someone who has the beard. So even those little small things help me, but just dressing apart, dressing that look of corporate, even having a nice setup, like a clean setup. I'm not going to say having the most expensive setup is important, but having, your setup that looks clean, making sure that you can accommodate your client in different ways, having the right equipment, those things, they really help, and they do help you stand out.
Okay. All right, let's head on to cool thing. So how do you what kind of things make you feel successful?
Well, I wouldn't really call myself successful because I've been a DJ here going on 7 years, and it's definitely difficult to be successful as an autistic DJ living in a small town, charging 50 an hour per gig. I'm just going down the rabbit hole.
But how
I mean,
many
I'm
how
getting
many how many artistic DJs do you know?
none, absolutely none.
So that makes you successful because you're
Yes.
doing something that no one else is doing.
Yeah, because I became a DJ like a year or two before the pandemic, so I was just getting started, and I've been getting mostly church events and maybe the occasional wedding and maybe the occasional school event and doing a lot of parties and stuff like that. And once the pandemic hit, I wasn't able to DJ for about 5 months until I started DJing the fireworks store on the 4th of July, and I started getting back into the swing of things. But ever since then, it's just been every now and then I would get a gig because it's really hard to be a small town DJ with autism and trying to be a successful DJ.
So hopefully, as we go through the night, you'll be able to pick up some pointers to kind of like turn it around. Because in my eyes, I see you as a success because again, I don't know too
Yeah,
many.
yeah. What makes me successful is the energy I bring and the energy and just the vibe that I bring through the music.
Because if you wasn't successful, you wouldn't. Because honestly, how many YouTube channels have you deleted, started and deleted?
A lot, maybe just a couple, and because I just kept getting so aggravated because I've been dealing with criticism a lot, and it just really gets to me. So I was
But
like,
but I
the
was going to
delete it.
say every time you bring it back, you get people to come back. So that's successful. That's not too many
Yeah,
people can still get people
yeah,
to come back after you delete it. So I'm like, I think you just need to look at you. You are successful. I just think you need to be more confident. And if you be confident and exude that confidence, I thinking you're holding yourself back. I'm thinking once you do that, you're right there, and it's like you just need to just switch, make a little small switch. I think you'll be on board where you want to be. The
yeah,
main thing is it's not where you at, it's where you're going. So
yeah,
therefore you used to say you're not successful. Just you could almost say I'm not where I'm at, but look at and also celebrate those small successes, and then eventually you'll get to where you want to be. So yeah, in my eyes, you're successful. Otherwise, you would be on the show.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
DJ Mikey Mike, what about you? A short
Okay,
one,
well,
please.
I'm gonna go back on cool thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bring in all this energy and stuff, and I know you say the criticism really hurts you.
Yeah.
Take that energy that you have and take that towards that criticism, and just downplay their criticism because right there, you're coming on YouTube and you're stepping up to the plate. And if somebody's criticizing you, you have all that energy. Guess what? You're beating them already. So their criticism towards you, I have always told you this, just smile and let that criticism blow away from you because you have the energy. You're there. You're creating your YouTube channels. Like you said, you deleted a few, you came back, you still have a following. So just funnel that energy into your YouTube channel. And believe me, people are going to keep on picking up on you more and more and more.
Well, the original channel got hacked in 2022.
I remember that. Yes.
And I deleted the original channel because I wasn't allowed to do gig logs anymore due to people not being, they are, how do I put this? Like I'm not allowed to record without their consent.
Yes, I remember that.
So that's why I deleted that other channel. But the other channel, yeah, I had to deal with criticism and also with trying to find a niche for my channel. But now I have a niche and it keeps growing. I've actually started back my YouTube show, Time to Spin. That's been doing well. Man.
So that's a success. That's you being successful.
That's success, man. Yeah. You're one step ahead of all those other people that are criticizing you. So don't just blow their criticism off. That's all. You are a great DJ. You're the coolest DJ on the beach, man.
Yeah.
Now, as for me, I started mine as a joke 22 years ago. My buddy was going to DJ my nephew's graduation party. Never showed up. So went out and bought 2 little 10-inch speakers and a preamp and iPod DJ mixing station. And, you know, just as a joke, then I got a gig at a local VFW. Then I think I got 1 or 2 more gigs, and I got other people calling. I'm like, well, this seems like it's taken off. So, unfortunately, the area that I live in, northeastern Pennsylvania, is very like we're in 2025, but we're still stuck in maybe like 1975, 1980, and try to break out of that and get these people to recognize what you do as a DJ. They still want to pay you the 1980 prices, but want all this other extra stuff from 2025 era. So I was like Reese, you know, I was doing, oh my God, 15, 20 gigs, 25 gigs. I would do 2, sometimes 3 graduation parties on a Saturday. And now it's just, listen, I'm going to pick and choose what I want to do. I know what I'm doing. I must be successful because people keep calling me. Like just between yesterday and today, I got 4 potential clients for weddings. So I'm doing it. I'm doing it the way I want to do it. I'm with the pricing. I try to structure it to what venue I'm going to. If I'm doing a wedding at a fire hall, I know those people really can't afford a DJ, or they can afford a DJ, but not a high quality price DJ. I'm not lowering my standards. I'm going to charge them, but I'm not going to, do it for nothing. But I'm going to cut them a break. And then if I get a call to go up to Glenmora, now, that's a more expensive place. I don't know how much a plate of food is. I know it's close to $200 per plate, if not more. So, you could charge more for going up there. So now instead of doing 15, 20 gigs a month, I cut it down to maybe 6 to 8 gigs a month, if that. Sometimes some months might be a little bit more, but basically I try to stay in anywhere from the minimum 4, maximum 6. Every once in a while I might get a 7th or 8th one in there. But I have weddings booked out to 2027. And 2027, I'll be 62 years of age. So
Nice.
Reese, I like to shop a lot. So next time I know wherever you're playing at a grocery store or something, I'll be there, man.
Yeah, you got to come out, man. You got to come
definitely.
I'm actually going to take DJ Reese's advice about, the music for tomorrow. because it's still a retail store. It's a fireworks store.
Mhm.
So if I see old people, I'm going to start bringing some oldies and just kind of tailor the music towards the client.
Yeah,
They'll
definitely.
love it, man. Trust me.
Yeah.
They'll love it. And they'll come up to you and like, oh, how do you know this? But now, trust me, they'll love it. And I want to say one thing too, DJ Cool Thing.
Yeah.
Just like my bad, HitmanDDub said, yo, your confidence, man. Yo, you gotta believe in yourself regardless of what's going on. And
Yeah.
there's always gonna be haters. We're in the DJ industry. Everybody has something to say about what we're doing and trying to tell us we're not doing it right or we're not doing it their way. Do it the way you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
That's all that matters because we are all blessed that we get to play music for a living. Like seriously, we are truly blessed. Like it's hard, man. Some days I pinch myself. I mean, I went to grad school twice, man. I used to be a teacher, worked in advertising, and even still while I was DJing and everything. But I finally was able to break through full time, and it happened before. Then I had to go back to work, but been full time for 5 years. Yeah, we are blessed, man. We're truly blessed.
Definitely.
The thing is, you put a smile on somebody's face. This world is crazy enough to begin with. And you go DJ somewhere and see one person smiling out of 100. You touch that one person. And that makes me feel great right there.
Yeah, it was just like this. Was it the second guy? Remember in the video that I played at the beginning where he was saying how we kind of like heal the soul and we shouldn't take that for granted. So that was profound when I found that one on Instagram.
Yes, it is. It's true. It truly is. It's a crazy world. Make somebody smile. We make them smile through our music and the way we perform, the way we address the guests too. Also,
Yeah, that's
me personally, I actually have confidence in myself. It's just it's hard to get the gigs. Living in a small town, it's like the opportunities are like this, like microscopic. And also being autistic is that, I'm stuck in my own little circle of family and friends and their family and friends because that's who I can trust and who I can feel comfortable DJing for.
Well, I got something for you. Where are you from? I've always been in a small town for the most part. Like I lived in New York for quite some time, but I'm in a small town. I'll be honest with you. I don't even DJ in my town. Like I've kind of like, I gave up the whole like being local. Even at one point I was like, that would be cool to have gigs that are maybe, 10 minutes away from my house and, 15 minutes. I always thought about like, yeah, it'd be super cool. I can come home, boom, done. But I know financially, like it just wouldn't work for like what I do, how long I've been doing it. So if I were you, man, position yourself to think about the bigger towns like you're near, the bigger cities.
Oh,
even
well, I am near Myrtle Beach,
dude.
I live in Conway, so I'm like 30 or 40 some minutes away from Myrtle Beach.
Man, seriously, tap in, man, because I'm in South Jersey, but I DJ a lot in Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, DC, New York. Like I'm never in South Jersey because there's just no budget that it's just not going to work, man, at this point, like in my career. And I have a mortgage. I'm not like I'm just not going to DJ for like crumbs or whatnot. But I do position myself a certain way where it wouldn't even make sense for me to come out and do something like imagine you're getting paid a certain amount and then you come out for like $100 or $200. That kind of doesn't look good with your brand. Like you got to sometimes think about that too as well. So just position yourself, man. Get your reviews and then lean into being autistic, man. There's nothing wrong with that. Lean into that, man. Like
I'm disabled.
Lean into it, man.
I don't do reviews.
I got to, man.
I do word of mouth and of course, Facebook and stuff.
Do reviews, man. I'm telling you, start working with the Google business.
I tried that, but people keep calling me, bullying me, harassing me, so I had to delete it.
Man, keep that. Yeah, all right. So the way I look at it like this, like when I first started DJing, I was in college. I'm in a fraternity. People were, it'll never work. Stick to your communications major. PR, it's never going to work. You know, all you're going to do is be a club DJ and all this other crap. Like a lot of people were telling me it would never work. Even my parents were telling me it would never work at the end of the day. Dude, you gotta, it doesn't matter. People are always going to hate, and people are always going to tell you what you can't do when you know what you can do, because you are you and they're not you. You know what you're capable of. Lean into those Google reviews, because if you want to play in other cities, I'm telling you that's really going to help you. And in the places that you're DJing at, give them a review too as well. That also helps too. If someone is going to book an event at that venue and they see, oh, this person just gave it a 5-star, and then you got pictures to show, oh, they're a DJ. I'm a contact him. So really lean into Google reviews. That is very important. And also people who that don't like that you DJ or hate on you, whether it's your people you're associates with, family, friends, kind of like step away from them. It's okay. Like it's perfectly fine to step away, whether they're family or not, if they don't support or they hate on what you're doing or they bring negativity to it.
Well, the people who hate me the most and give me the most criticism is other DJs. It's when
block them.
It's other DJs who comment on my videos, and that's why I keep deleting my YouTube.
Don't delete anything, man. Block them. That's it. I get hate all the time, man, and sometimes I go back and forth. Sometimes I just like it. I don't care. I know it helps with the algorithm, so I don't even really care.
And what makes it bad? The same hater that you have, Cool Thing, come to find out it was the same hater that hated on Reese. The same. Oh, we don't
yeah, he's crazy, man. I dropped the name. I gotta say, but yeah, he's nuts, man. Yeah, TikTok hater, like say just crazy things that don't even make sense. Like one time, I posted. So I'll do corporate events where like I'm literally just playing background music. Like no one's there to dance. They're holding their little champagne, eating their hors d'oeuvres. I don't care. Like I'm perfectly fine with that. Every event is not a party. Every event is not a turn-up party. It's just not. And he's like, oh, that's nonsense. That's BS. Every event's it's a party. You're gonna throw bangers on and everybody's gonna dance. And I'm like, man, you must have not DJ corporate, because every corporate event is definitely not like that.
So I gotta put the shades on because I was blinded by the lights.
But yeah, DJs are always going to hate and talk, man. Like I had a guy talking trash to me on Threads, like saying that I'm trying to like seek popularity because I said like clients need to actually really read the contract, because a lot of times clients, like I had clients in the past who, it says I get free parking on my contract, and I'm sitting here coming in and I'm paying for parking. Like, what the heck's going on here? And he's like, oh, you're trying to get clout. And I'm like, what are you even talking about? I'm just naming an actual point that clients need to actually thoroughly read DJ's contract so they know what they have to cover and what in the contract entails. So you're not asking me for things that it says in my contract I'm not bringing, So people are always going to talk, man.
On that, Reese,
long story short, I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and just go with it.
Right on, man. Don't stop, man.
Talking about your contract, I just had an encounter with a lady, booked me for her brother's wedding. She contacted me one day, and the next day she wanted the contract. She signed the contract. Mike, I got to meet with you. I got to give you the down payment. Boom, boom, boom. She gave me the down payment. 2 days later, she calls me back. She said, Mike, I'm so sorry. My future system, I decided to go to Guitar Center, rent 2 speakers, rent a microphone, and rent some lights. And one of their friends are going to MC it and DJ. I said, okay, tell them congratulations. She goes, well, when can we meet? I said, well, what? She goes, to get my deposit back. I said, did you read the contract? Yes, Mike. I said, okay, you initialed every page and dated every page? Yes. I said, okay, because I'm looking at the same copy of that contract that you signed. I said, so you have that in front of you? She goes, yes, I do. I said, all right, go to page 2, paragraph 1. And I said, can you please read that out loud? And she said, well, she's reading it. And she goes, no refunds? What do you mean? I'm like, plain and simple, no refunds. I could have had a different wedding that day, but you were the first one to call me. The other person called me second. I gave you the crack at it. If you book me, fine. That other person's out in the cold. Now you book me. 3 days later, you're unbooking me. The other client already, they got a DJ. So I'm not going to be out money from both gigs. I'm out from one gig. So she was pretty mad at me, and she told me, unfortunately, it seems to me that you need the money more than I do. And I said, well, I'm not the one who's calling you and asking you. You're the one who's calling me and asking me for the money back. Sad story is, this family is super, super, super well. And it's like, okay, no problem. Listen, you're not getting your money back. End of story. Goodbye. Click. Done.
That's funny. I had that happen 2 months ago, and it's for the. It's crazy how the world works. So the event, the Ashley Furniture event I have on July 12th, I was actually booked on July 12th from back in like January. Mm-hmm. Then I had the client back in April canceled, saying it was a family reunion at a venue that actually like uses me as a vendor.
Yes.
And I don't even want to do a family reunion, but because I'm a vendor, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna just do it. But she wanted the I call it a retainer just like purposely for a specific reason. She wanted it back, and I told her, I actually like screenshot my section 4.1 on page 2, like, yeah, this is not refundable. And she was pissed. And then I said, hey, you got 6 months if you want to reschedule another event. You got 6 months. I'll keep, the price is still the same. She's like, oh, can I transfer this off to one of my family members? And I was like, you know what? Sure. And then they didn't want to do anything either with it. So she still asked up until May, like, hey, can I get my retainer back? And I said, no. And then Ashley Furniture came calling. So it's like, sometimes certain things just work as a blessing, man. But
God closes one door and opens up another. So.
Right. But clients got to read, man. They really have to read the contract. I even have it in bold. Bold. Please read everything entirely.
Yeah, I have all mine, and like, especially those special points there, like the no refund. That's in 14-point font, in bold, underlined. I mean, it's plain and simple, sticking right out at you. The rest of the type is in 10-point font, and it's not even bold. So.
Right.
Can't miss it,
It's clearly important.
Yes. And then on the bottom is, please, it says, what the heck do I have it read? Awarded. You're signing this page, or you're initialing this page and dating this page, and you understand the contents of the page. Right. And she just initial date. I don't think she read the contract at all.
They all don't read it. No, seriously, like I feel like they all don't read it. They just sign.
She wanted to pay me in full. I said, no. I just want my retainer. That's all I want. Right. No, Mike, I want to pay you in full. I'm like, nope. Because things could change from now to then. Right. I don't want to be, saying, hey, listen, you're out a couple grand now because your brother or your sister-in-law changed their mind. Then you're going to be really flipping out. She'll be going up the deep end.
I have something in my contract. If the event is under 2 weeks, I actually demand full payment.
Oh, same here.
Yeah, because I've had this happen to me a lot of times in the past where I used to get these like last minute bookings when I didn't care. I wanted to fill up the schedule, and they would like literally, hey, I want my money back, and like they would call me, like harass me, threaten to leave me bad reviews. Like it was like really like curse me out, or I'm a pull up to where you live. It was all types of crazy stuff, man. I was just like, you know what? Yeah, let me just give them their money back. I don't even want to deal with this.
I had a wedding 2 years ago, and I felt bad for the bride. They were getting married at the end of August, and here her fiance finally told her that his other girlfriend is having a baby, and the due date was their wedding date. And she goes, Mike, I know it's right in your contract. I'm paying you. I said, no, wait, listen. Just now, she goes, I want to book you for the near future. If I do meet somebody, I still want you as my DJ. I said, well, you do meet somebody and you plan on getting married, if I'm still DJing, hopefully before the age of 70, you don't owe me no retainer fee. It's just we'll go from there. I'll take that up the top. I was devastated for her.
Right.
Just, unfortunately, that her boyfriend misled her, misled the girlfriend, and misled her. But like I said, it's a crazy, crazy world.
Oh, it is, and I feel like that's a great, to honor your contract. Like I had something similar to that where it was I'm Nigerian, by the way, first generation. It was a couple. She was not Nigerian. The guy was Ghanaian. He went back to Ghana. She was basically planning a whole wedding. He never came back. She paid me a deposit. I felt so bad, and I told her like, let me know like whenever you ever plan on getting married. And this is from 2016, man. And I've actually reached out to her. I stopped reaching out to her maybe like 2021. But I would reach out to her every year to see how she's doing, and yeah, just no response. So I don't know. Hope she got married.
I actually did a wedding for it was an American bride, and the groom was from Ghana.
Okay.
And they must have been super, super wealthy because his whole family came over and they came out with their African garb out when I did the introductions, except Grandpa had to go to the bathroom, and so we had to take a little pause in the introductions. So I didn't make no big deal out of it. I didn't say, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we have a little thing going on with Grandpa. I just said, ladies and gentlemen, having a little technical difficulties up here. We're going to get back to the introductions in a few minutes. And I waited for him to get done. I played some other music. Then they came out, and I'll tell you that I wish I was allowed to take pictures of that because it was spectacular. I mean, just to see different cultures as opposed to I'm so used to seeing American weddings. I'm now developing, and I've been doing a lot of Indian events. But that wedding was so unique. It was unbelievable. And like I said, they had to be a rich family because their honeymoon was like a month and a half long. They were in Morocco, they were in Italy, they were in Mediterranean Sea. I'm like, oh my God. But what wonderful people. Wonderful, wonderful people.
Right. So that was your one long story time with DJ Mikey Mike. No, we're not doing a 3-hour show tonight. I sat here and was patient. I was just letting you go.
My bad. My fault.
So we had Buddy. He said trash. That's his trash talking, because he has the same person in common too that gets it. And then he goes on to say, the big thing now is DJs dropping gigs. You see couples looking for DJs weeks before the wedding. They got a cheap DJ and they got a better paying gig. So I guess people, because I've seen that a lot in Facebook this year, where at the last minute people drop for I shouldn't say no apparent reason. It seems like now people are freely just dropping gigs at the last minute, and then they leave the couple scrambling. So I don't know what all that is about, but
I've seen that a lot too.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's not cool. If you're committed and you realize, hey, you maybe took on too much than you can chew, that's your fault at the end of the day. Like if you charge maybe $400 for a wedding, they want you to set up 3 different times, and you gotta go up a flight of steps. Those were the terms you agreed to. You didn't fight for what you really wanted. So at the end of the day, I feel like it's wrong to leave a couple scrambling a week before the wedding, 2 weeks before the wedding. I think it's wrong, man. That's just not the right thing to do. If you're committed, they sign a contract, go through on your commitment, or either hire another DJ. But I feel like it is your responsibility to make sure that wedding happens.
I've done stuff with my family, which I've heard other DJs say, well, don't even, you gotta charge your family too. When it comes to my family, give them a very big discount. So my niece booked me for her son's birthday party, and they had charged like 125 bucks because it was right down the street from my house.
30
I
seconds.
got a call for a wedding, and where the wedding was going to be at was a very exclusive place. So I'm like, boy, I don't want to leave this couple out cold out in the dry, and I know other DJs around and I know what they're going to charge. I said, listen, I said, my buddy DJ Tyler, he's my fill-in guy. I'll give you all the information. Call Tyler. Tyler, you open that day? Yes, Mike, I'm open. Then he goes, what do I charge? I said, Tyler, do you understand? This place you're going to is $500 a plate. He's like, what do you mean? I said, their dinner is $500. He's like, oh, what do I charge? I said, dude, you're talking like a $3,000 wedding. I can make that. I'm like, yeah. And Tyler's from Jamaica, so
Wow.
he was like, hey, no matter what I ever threw at him, I threw a 60 or 50th wedding anniversary at him. And then it was so funny because the gentleman I know, he's 70 plus years of age, calls me up. He said, Mike. I said, yeah, his name was Mike too. He goes, yeah, Mike. I said, what's up? He said, DJ you sent here. I'm like, yeah. He's black. I'm like, no. He said, yeah, I'm looking right at him. Like, he's black. I said, no, he's Jamaican. He's like, will he play the music that we want? I said, Mike, please trust me. Tyler got you covered. Half hour to an hour later, he called back. He's like, oh my God, Mike, he's playing everything we want to hear. So I was like, beautiful. Until today, he can't thank me enough for having Tyler fill in for me. So that's what it's all about. Pleasing your customers or potential customers.
Right. Got to.
Okay. Wayne,
what was that story about again? DJ Mike, what was you saying?
Tyler, how?
All right. Go ahead. You got to unmute yourself.
Okay. Now can you hear me? I didn't mute here.
I know. I want to make sure that worked because you went right back into another long story and you said told that story last week. I just want to make sure that I had to do you like I do my kids because we'll never get through the show. All right. So again, we're going to look at 7 myths, old myths of the way DJs used to think and see. Do they still hold true in 2025? So let's cue it up and get started with our show. And the first myth is, if you're killing it in the clubs, you're winning. So after what I'm hearing, because a couple of people had asked me about DJing in a club or a bar, and I can't believe the hours that they DJ, the amount of pay for that, like 125 or 200. I'm like, that's not even worth it. It's like, I'm thinking, I guess at one time having your name on the flyer or the big flyer and stuff was cool, but now that's not even worth the time and the headache and all that. What about you all?
Yeah, it's the same here. It's 100 to 125 bucks for a bar. Then if they want you to do karaoke, you might get 150 out of them, but then they want all the lights and everything. It's like, I'm sorry, I won't bring my equipment out for that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no possible way.
Yeah, I totally agree because here in Conway, Myrtle Beach, we used to have a lot of like nightclubs, but they're all closing down and there's nothing left. And all the DJs here are mostly doing churches and also schools and weddings and parties. So, yeah.
I can hear you there. A lot of the nightclubs around our area have closed up too. And even the few that remain, again, they want to pay the DJ anywhere from 100 to 150. That's it. They don't want to go no higher.
Yeah. And the only types of clubs I see are like strip clubs and stuff like that. Those are the only ones that are still open in 2025.
They're closing up around here. I'm sorry. We're an old coal mine region up here.
Yeah, but to me, I couldn't do a club one of those nightclub gigs anyway, because I'm a senior citizen. My bedtime is at 8 o'clock.
Wait, I'm older than you, Dwayne.
I was telling Reese this morning. He was like, I thought the show was at 9 o'clock in the morning. I was like, no, I'm retired. I don't have to get up to 12 o'clock at noon.
But I did see a lot of nightclubs back in 2022 when I went to Vegas, and there was almost every hotel had a nightclub.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the city that never sleeps, though. So that's a different story.
Big over there.
How old are you, Dwayne?
I'll be 57 in a month, August 4th.
You're a pup yet.
Wow.
I got you by 3.
See, you wasn't a school teacher. See, I used to have, my hair used to be black.
I used to have hair. My hair was down to my butt.
Oh, man.
My bangs were down to here. I look like Bon Jovi back in the heyday.
So, of course, Reese had said earlier, I guess he wouldn't agree with this one because he said you did clubs and you had to get rid of that and then go into the corporate thing. So
I'll tell you this, I think people do think, if you're killing in the clubs, you are winning. Me personally, no, but people do think that, if you're killing the clubs, you got women twerking, grinding, whatever, it looks like a big scene that's going on, then they think they're killing it, but not, financially though, it just doesn't, you can't really, DJ in the club. I don't know. It's really hard to, make things happen and pay for things, and say if you got a family, say if you got kids, say if you want to buy a house, you want to get a car. I just think, say if you went to college, you got school loans, I just think it's not really feasible. It's kind of like, I don't know. I guess I feel like maybe if you don't have any responsibilities, like financial responsibility, I guess it's cool. But I feel like if you're gonna rely on that, man, it's you're not really gonna get that far up,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Let's go on to myth number 2. Being booked every weekend means you made it.
Well, I actually don't really agree with that myth. Being booked every weekend means you made it. Well, look at me. I live in small town Conway, and I'm getting a lot of mainly like school events and maybe some church events from other churches, like the Night to Shine prom, to charity events. That's another thing I do, charity events. I've been doing 2 charity events, and I'm making it. Even though I'm not DJing every weekend, but it does give me some time to relax and chill and rejuvenate before the next gig and start, prepping for the next gig. I mean, I've already got 3 gigs on my calendar already, with the Grand Strand Down Syndrome Society Buddy Walking Festival in October after the summer. And of course, my sister and her fiance's engagement party after the summer, and their wedding celebration next year. So I'm really.
So I was going to say again, that's another example of being successful.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to let you leave saying that I'm not a successful DJ anymore.
Well,
exactly.
I mean, the only season I have the most time off is during the summer. That's the tough part, is getting gigs in the summer.
But then,
it's 110 degrees down there.
Yeah. But remember a couple of episodes before this, the DJ Gauntlet. That's the one with I think when we did the Nightmare on M Street, that one. Oh no, it was the Men in Black one. What we do on our off weeks. That's the important time, because that's when you get to you make sure everything is in order, and you prepping for when you know that you're getting ready to be busy. Because when you're busy, you won't be able to do a lot of stuff that you need to do. So that's the time that you have to get ready. Just like a fireman. Firemen don't wait till they get called to put out a fire to make sure their boots and everything is in order and everything is put back neatly. So you have to prepare. So that's basically your off week is still your on week, basically.
Yeah.
Also, it's a good opportunity to, the events you have done, reach back out and see if they can, if they know anyone in need of a DJ. So like just following up with older clients, just following up with people you DJ'd for previously. And then just, getting any content you've gotten, get that together. Like I just got the X5, like you said, HitmanDDub. I sold my X2 on eBay today, and the X5 came in today, so I'm gonna play around with that and get ready to get as much footage as possible. But yeah, you use that off time. It's still work, man.
Yep.
See, now you should have asked me. Please.
Okay.
You got the Action 5.
Remember, no long stories.
Yeah. No, just
I got the button. Five. I got the mute button right here.
Don't do them like that.
Action 5 Pro. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I missed it. I was talking. All right, go ahead. Do it again.
The DJI Action 5 Pro.
Okay. Yeah, because you got the gimbal that follows everybody.
Well, no, that's OP3.
Okay.
I'm a DJI man.
Yep. Okay. So for me, being booked every weekend means you made it. I just want to be, again, consistent. And consistent to me is because in the past, it was like, just like Cool Thing, mine was more seasonal. It seemed like I'll be busy for doing the different parts of the year, but then I have these long layoffs before I get another gig. I can deal with a couple of gigs or 3 gigs a month and then, have a little break because again, I'm getting older and I'm trying to find equipment or setup that I can handle that's not like heavy labor and all that stuff because I'm finding out it takes me a good day to recoup for my body to get back. So I hear a lot of people saying that they have 50 or 100 weddings and all this and back-to-backs. I can phantom doing that, knowing what goes on for each one. So yeah, to me, being booked every weekend does not mean that you made it. It also goes back to what Reese said. If you're getting the right gigs and the proper payment of what you're worth, you don't need to be super busy. Just get that. You can still come out at more ahead getting the gigs that pay more that you can get.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, a little advice to you, Dwayne. Mm-hmm. You're a school teacher, right? So
I'm retired.
Maybe some of those students that you did teach that are now like 18 or 19 years of age, maybe you should hire 1 or 2 of them to set up for you, do all your setup.
That's a good one.
That's a little hint.
That comes from somebody that has not been in the classroom. You don't know these kids.
So you can find
remember,
one.
A lot of them was in my band group, be it drum corps or instrumental band or choir. You know how many times? Oh, actually, that's in general. How many times I have to go pick up their paper, tell them, put your name on your paper. I have to remind them. It's like that's extra work. Because I got to tell them what to do, then I got to go and watch them mess up, then have to go undo what they messed up. It's like extra work. So no, it sounds good, but no.
Like being booked every weekend, does that mean you're successful? Yeah, in a sense. But I'm going to tell you right now, as doing weddings, if you're doing back-to-back weddings every weekend, you're going to start making mistakes that are simple, that, in normal circumstances, you would never make that mistake because, you have a wedding this week and then maybe you have a wedding at the end of the month. But when you have a wedding Friday, you have a wedding Saturday, you may have a wedding Sunday, you're going to make a simple mistake and you're going to say, wow, why did I do that? So you got to step back. Yeah, the money's nice, but is it going to kill you if you don't take that wedding that Saturday Or if you don't take the Saturday or Sunday wedding, you just do the one wedding. Focus on one thing. If you focus on two weddings, great. Prime example, I did one wedding. The gentleman's name, the husband's name was, the one wedding was Greg and the other one was Gregory. Well, Friday night was Greg, Saturday night was Gregory, and I said Greg. And the groom looked at me, the bride smiled because the bride called him Greg. So, but it was a simple mistake that if I didn't do that gig Friday night, I probably wouldn't have made that simple mistake Saturday night. So once you start, I'm not gonna say being successful, once you start being greedy like that and just taking all them in, I would say, no, yes, the fact that isn't successful. You're just being greedy at that point in time.
Yep. Or you'd be like Hulk Hogan standing in the Pontiac Silverdome and saying, "What you gonna do, Pontiac Silverdome," calling the wrong city. But Buddy said it's our official clock watcher. So he says 1 hour is over. So let's see if we can get through these next 4 myths. The third myth is the best DJ wins on skill alone.
Oh, okay. That one I would have to disagree on because it doesn't have to work. And for me, when I DJ like a school or a wedding or anything like that, no one's really going to notice the skill. All they want is good music with a good vibe, good energy that they can dance to. And I mean, with me, I mainly upfade and crossfade, and mixing in with the low and high pass filter to kind of like bring the song out and bring the other one in. So I don't really have the best DJ skills in the world.
To me, DJ, this question is just like your entertainers or the people that we are playing their music. A lot of them, it's not about the best singers and all that. It's not the ones that get the record deals and all that. It goes right back to what Reese said at the beginning. You can have the skill, but you gotta also have that branding, and you gotta have the other promotion stuff to get you over. So it's just like anything else. You can be the best you can have the best skill set, but if no one can see it and know about it, then it's all for naught. So you have to have more than just the skill set. You gotta have that branding and be able to promote yourself and again position yourself in order to get where you're trying to get to.
Yeah, I agree with both of you fellas. Yeah, definitely the best DJ definitely doesn't win on skill alone, because you could be super talented and no one ever heard of you. No one's going to book you. So
you could be talented. I mean, there's all different forms of DJs. You could be a talented club DJ, and then you throw that DJ and put him in a wedding, and he's like, "Oh, what do I do?" A friend of mine is a club DJ out in New York City, and he told me, "Mike, I cannot do what you do. I don't deal with the public. I'm up in a booth. I don't see the public. They don't see me. I just scream on the microphone, 'Hey, raise your hands,' and that's it." And so I do 2-hour sets. I'm out for 4 hours and come back, do a 2-hour set. I'm out for 4 hours. But he does all of his music at his apartment here in Wilkes-Barre, and then he goes out to New York City for the weekend. That's it. It's like, I don't know. Like I said, there's all forms of DJs. There's your club DJs, a wedding DJ, wedding DJ, graduation DJs. You're basically the same, but a club DJ is a totally different realm right there.
All right, let's move on. Myth 4: you just need to DJ and let the music speak for itself.
Well, with that, I actually totally agree. Because especially at a school event or anywhere where people are dancing and having a good time, we just let the music speak for itself when it comes to the energy, the vibe, and just, mainly the energy and the vibe, and let that speak for itself. And also add in some MC skills like put your hands up, and tell them to jump, jump, jump.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to me,
it depends. Oh,
Yeah.
my bad.
oh,
No,
go
my
ahead,
fault.
go ahead.
All
Because
right.
I wanted to
So-
make sure that we don't get in no long story times again. Go ahead.
Got you. So yeah, I personally feel I prefer a DJ who doesn't talk a lot. That's me personally, but in certain area, like certain demographics, is definitely different. So if you're going to DJ, say reggae, you're going to DJ a reggae party. Unfortunately, as a DJ slash MC, you're gonna have to talk. Like that crowd's just gonna want that. Unfortunately, that's just is what it is. But I DJ weddings. Besides introducing myself to the crowd before I do the bridal introductions during the dance floor, I do talk here and there, but it's really not a lot. Like unless I have to do announcements during corporate, I just let the music speak for itself, and that's why I prefer. But I feel like unfortunately in certain situations and certain types of music, if you're gonna play certain music, you're gonna have to talk. Like if you're at a hip hop club DJ, unfortunately, you're gonna have to talk.
Yeah.
And because I was getting ready to say, I used to think that way, not really get on the mic and talk and let the music play. But I'm finding out, especially if you do weddings, you gotta be able to get us. I'm not saying go over the top and every time you look up, you're talking more than you're, letting the music play. You got to be able to give direction, do introductions, and you got to be able to say what needs to be said when it needs to be said. So you got to have that skill set. So it took me doing this podcast to be able to just get on the mic and talk, because I used to hate the way my voice sounded. But now that I'm doing it and I'm hearing my voice over and over, it doesn't bother me anymore. So to me, yeah, I'm not saying you need to be that hands up, or if talking throughout the whole thing. No, because a lot of people don't want to hear that. So
Well,
it
I
has
gotta
to be
get
a
going.
combination. All right, cool thing.
All right.
Hopefully when you get home, we won't still be
Good
online.
thing.
Yeah.
All right, brother. It was a pleasure meeting you.
All right. Nice to meet you too.
Well, then we'll see you soon, man.
All right.
All right, have a safe trip, and I'll be looking out for that gig vlog or highlights and stuff tomorrow.
Yes,
All right.
definitely.
All
buddy.
right.
All right, have a good
Yeah,
one.
have a great
Safe
gig,
one,
man. Kill it.
Bye.
Kill it tomorrow.
All right.
And let me read Buddy's comment before I forget, because there's like a minute delay. So he said, "Let the music play. You should read the room. No need to be on the mic." And what was before that? Oh, it's part of a package. You need to have some, but it's not always needed. So I'm going to assume he's referring to the skill part, since he's like a minute behind. And then he went on and say, "We, Tracy and I, do not say our names. It's all about the couple." But I kind of like do at the very beginning, like doing the cocktail hour or something, so the people know that I'm not just a worker. I actually the DJ that knows stuff that can help them, and it also helps me to break that ground. And when I make the announcements, I come from behind the booth, so I can get close to the couple, especially like if I have to release tables. I also don't announce it over the mic. I try to get close and have a conversation, so that helps me to give over my shyness, and hopefully we can make that connection before we get into the open dance.
Well, for me, like when I'm doing a wedding, I'm there, like I said, around here, if I get an hour and a half to set up, it's great. I'm happy because then this way I have a half hour to basically cool off, dress up, and then the guests start flowing in. I'll go up and greet them. I do not drink no alcoholic beverages while I'm DJing. I'll go up to the bar, get a soda. Hey, I'm DJ Mikey Mike, and I'm the DJ for tonight. If you want to hear something, bride and groom have it open. Requests are being taken. And, I'll go around to the tables. Are you enjoying the music? My name is DJ Mikey Mike. The only time I say my name is at the end of the evening. And let's hear it for our bride and groom. I won't say bride and groom. I'll say their name, and then at the end of the night, I'll say, "Ladies and gentlemen, I hope everybody enjoyed the music. I'm DJ Mikey Mike. Remember, if you had too much to drink, please call an Uber or please get a ride home from somebody that is a designated driver. Have a safe night. We'll see y'all soon, and many years of happiness and love to our couple. And that's basically it. Yeah, it just, I see DJs that drink. I see DJs that talk on the microphone too much. I see DJs that were drinking and play the same song over, not once, but not twice, but 3 times the same song. These couples are paying you a lot of money. Don't mess it up with them.
All right, so let's go on to the next one. Look like we might make it under 2 hours.
No, we're not going to, Dwayne.
Oh.
You know that.
All right.
Don't hit that mute button.
All right. Myth number 5. Posting gig photos is enough as far as it concerns marketing.
I don't agree with that. Like sometimes, all right, depending on the photos. I mean, say if you just post photos of your setup, nothing actually happened for your client to see. There's nothing exciting about seeing for us DJs, you know, we'll like that. And, you know, you might have some clients that, oh, okay, you know, your setup is very neat, but it's important for people to actually see you doing what you do or see your crowd reacting to what you do. I think that's way more important than just photos. It's really hard to gauge a client, to really gauge who you are just based off of event photos, you know? So.
Yeah, because I was going to say, they almost remind me of the gig vlogs that we had talked about last week, where the majority of the gig vlog is of them setting up their equipment, and then they talking about their equipment, and then only have like a minute of dancing, and that's like a line dance or something that everybody does that get a full dance floor. It doesn't really show you, you know, the actual party. And
I think that's cool for DJs though. If your target audience is like, you want to show DJs how to set up the equipment, what's the purpose of using an external mixer, or, you know, hey, I like to use this Shure mic because X, Y, and Z. I think that's cool. But if you want to be kind of like client based, then showing yourself setting up is just irrelevant. Really show yourself like actually mixing and people dancing to like what you're doing.
And you
like,
said the exact same thing I said last week. When you show your equipment, because that's what we were going back and forth with. When you just show your equipment, but then you don't explain why you're using it, or there's no purpose behind it. It's like, now who are you trying to impress? Another DJ or the client? So, but the two I saw today, they didn't say anything. They basically just did the same formula that I had outlined last week about how a gig vlog goes. About, you know, the time lapse of them putting it in the car, driving to the venue, then setting up, and then walking through what they bought, and then again a 1 second or a couple of seconds of dancing, and then the outro, and that's it. So it followed the same cookie cutter thing. It didn't say anything extra to add any kind of value to it. So. All right, go ahead, Mikey, because I wanted to get that in before you.
No, I'm happy you said that. Like with me, what I do for a wedding around here in northeastern Pennsylvania, basically everybody's still attached to Facebook. And what I do is I created an album on Facebook for the bride and groom.
Nice.
And I give them, I upload everything in high res for them. If they want to download it, they want to share it, and if they want to make prints of it, if they want to download and make a DVD, they are excited about that because they hire a photographer. That photographer's at point A. Something's happening over here at point C in front of me. I can take a picture. Boom! I go up right up into their album, and then also I suggest them to make a hashtag, maybe their date, their name of their, the date of their wedding and their initials or whatever. And I make announcements throughout the course of the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're uploading anything to social media, please use the hashtag that is on your table. And if that works out, great with them. It's so nice. But when you're doing a YouTube video, you can throw maybe one or two pictures in there to break up when you're doing, from one part of the video over to another. You might have a caption of the bride or the bride and groom together. It's like going into their first dance, or you're doing their ceremony, taking a picture of the bride walking down, and then the groom standing up by the altar or wherever they're at, or underneath the structure. So that, and incorporating the video with it. I mean, just to post photos on YouTube, no. Facebook, yeah, you can get away with it. You're creating an album for the bride and groom. And basically, if you post a video on Facebook, has any of the lyrics of the song, boom, they're striking it right down and muting it too. So they're done. You're done. They don't hear none of that song on there,
Yeah, so that's why you can go through YouTube and then use a YouTube link to put on Facebook. So it's not really
Yes.
Don't put it directly on Facebook. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So Buddy went on to say, let me see, go back. This goes back to saying his name. If they can't understand that you're the DJ, they should not go out the house. When people come up and ask if I'm the DJ, I tell them no, I'm the bartender, and he laughs. I don't know. Maybe it's just a teacher, a music teacher thing, or even an entertainer kind of a thing. I guess that's how we break. I guess I'm just breaking the ice or something. It's just a force.
Yeah, that's how they start conversation. I mean,
Yeah.
I get it all the time. You'll see me with two speakers, a bag of wires. No shit. Of course, I'm the DJ. But at the end of the day, they always come up and ask me, "Oh, by the way, are you the DJ?" And it's like, come on. You see me with this hand truck and all this gear. I'm the DJ. But I feel like sometimes, we're human beings. A lot of us are very weird. We don't know how to, just, hey, how you doing? Or how's everything going? Or my name is so-and-so. Some people just don't know how to start a conversation with you. So they'll ask you such a silly question that they already know the answer to. Because I'm not going to lie, that used to aggravate me. But now I don't get offended by it anymore. I used to hate when someone would ask me that. Like, obviously I am the DJ.
Yep. And then Buddy went on to say, it's part of marketing. Video is even better. So that goes back to this myth of just using a photo. And he went on and said, did you see my short today? That is marketing. I know he put up a picture of the video. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe put in the comment section specifically which one. So maybe it's something. Maybe I saw it, but because I saw it on the round table, I didn't think it was anything new. And then cool thing, I guess he's still listening to us. He says, I totally disagree with that. I think we should also post gig logs and show off the dancing and behind the booth of you actually DJing. Yep. And Bad World. Again, he's on a minute delay, so I'm not sure which comment he's referring to.
Oh, Reese, what Dwayne was suggesting, like, these DJs come on, and it's like every gig that they post, I'm using this control, I'm using this mixer, I'm using these speakers, I'm using this microphone. Next week, they're at another gig, and it's the same mixer, same controller, same microphone, but they don't explain why they're using it. They're just saying, they're more or less, are they looking for that brand to throw them a free gift? Say, hey, listen, you're using our brand, so we're coming out with a new microphone, so maybe you can use this for a couple gigs. So it
might be
push it for us.
That actually, yeah, that is true. They might be looking for that sponsorship. Yes. I would kind of prefer, maybe a DJ going a little more of like, this is what my audience is, or the type of event I'm doing. I will probably lean towards playing this because this is where my audience is, or I'm DJing in this area and primarily they like this type of music. I would kind of prefer a little more of that But honestly, yeah, if you're gonna show me gear, and there's a DJ that does a really good job of that. He's on IG. His name is DJ, I think Fox, Phox. He's in Phoenix, but he literally explains everything from like wireless, like the adapters he gets to make his speakers are wireless. He explains why does he get these Sennheisers. He explains his microphone, his rack. He explains everything to the T, like everything. And I actually enjoy it, and I've actually purchased a few things from just watching some of his videos. So
I'll tell you a quick story. I got called to DJ at a birthday party, a 40th birthday party. It was in this little country town. Shikshinny. I don't know if you ever heard of Shikshinny.
No.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, they're going to want to hear country music because I know a lot of people from Shikshinny. So I get down there and all set up. And all they wanted is hardcore rap. I'm like,
oh, wow.
Wait, what do you want to hear?
You prepared for country.
I was prepared for the wrong thing. I mean, they give me no playlist. They just come DJ our 40, my wife's 40th birthday party. I'm like, okay, Shikshinny. I mean, there are a bunch of ass kickers down there, you know? It's like, and I'm like, you want to hear Eminem? You want to hear? Yeah. I'm like, hey, here we go, you know? And next thing you know, at the end of the evening, a big barroom fight broke out, and then the owner of the bar comes out with a shotgun, blasts a couple shots up in the air. I'm like, oh my God, get me out of here. You know? That was a short one, buddy. All right. Wait.
That's wild. That's wild.
It was. I was like, ooh. Thank God my nephew was helping me that night because my son was too young at that point in time.
Yeah, that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
That is very wild.
Yeah. Oh. Shotgun. Yeah. I mean, it was.
Yeah, I've been frightened, man. I'm like, yeah, I'm out of here.
It was like The Walking Tall. You ever see that movie?
No.
Well, Walking Tall, he comes out with a baseball bat or a 2x4.
2x4.
This guy came out with a 2x4 and he whacked something. Bang! You heard that? I'm like, oh my God! I thought it was a gun going off. The next thing you know, these people didn't want to break up the fight. He comes out with a shotgun. I'm like, oh Jesus, with the pistol grip on. I'm like, oh my God, what did I get myself into?
Right. Oh man.
I was shaking.
Yeah, I would have been shaking too.
Yeah.
I've been ducking under my DJ booth table.
Yeah. Thank God I have my pistols with me.
All right. Okay, myth 6. If you have great gear, you're a pro.
Oh,
I think we beat that over there. That's like beating a dead horse at this point. Because we say that all the time.
That's false, man. That's big time false. Big time false.
Yes, definitely big time false. There's I don't want to even get going on that one.
Yeah.
Right. You know, so many DJs that, they'll portray themselves as the biggest pro because they have the latest gear, and it's like, man, you don't know how to mix, you can't even read a crowd. You're terrible. It's so many DJs that they live off of, I have the latest gear. That's their like trademark. I have the latest gear, so I'm an amazing DJ. It's like,
all right, mixing key, and I do this and I do that, but then the bride comes up and says, "Here, I want to hear this." And it's totally off the key. It's totally different BPM. And what do you say to that bride? I'm sorry, I can't because I'm mixing key. Yeah, she'll slap you in the head.
But here's a question though, to add something new to it. This comes from a video I saw back in, I want to say May. It's from Daryl Bennett. And yeah, do you suffer from gas? The gear acquisition syndrome. This is where he asked the question, do you buy gear to gig, or do you buy he says, do you buy gear to gig, or do you gig to buy gear? So that was his main question. Do you?
Well, it's funny coming from him.
Yeah, he buys a lot of gear.
Because he's always, every day he's posting new content about this new gear he got.
Yeah, because of him, I got the B Humpter 3. I saw his review and I was like, all right, I'm getting it. But yeah, his review made me go buy it. Like, but yeah, his videos are I love his content. It's very informative.
He is very informative. Even like with the DMX. I mean, he is boom, boom, boom. You know, and he walks through a lot of stuff. He's not just bouncing from point A going to point D, and then point D to point K. He's going A, B, C, D. Yeah, it may be the shorter version of it, but it's still enough to get you by to get to that point. You know, and I'm still waiting for my one buddy to teach me the Control One. I mean, he promised, and I don't know what happened to him. He's sitting right across the screen from me.
Yeah, because I was going to say I don't know because he always have something to do, or he always have to.
I know. I'll tell you, but I wish I had an extra 10 hours in a day. You know,
no, because you use 9 hours and 59 minutes of it just talking.
I know.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, but I used to have gas, because I was into keyboards and beat making and all that stuff. I always saw the latest gear and thought, oh, if I just got that gear, I'd be able to do this better and quicker, instead of learning that gear and just going ahead. Yes, the new gear may do it quicker, but the old gear can also do it, but it just takes a extra step, and it's a whole lot cheaper to just use what you already have. So going back to the question again, do you buy gear to gig? I buy gear what I need, not necessarily going to gig so I can get money to buy new gear. So if I get something new now, because now I have to be more financial responsible, and now that I'm retired, I don't get that 2-week paycheck. I'm living month, but I have to learn to live month by month when I get that retirement check. So I can't go on the splurge and keep buying stuff. So I buy stuff because I actually need it, like to do what I need to do, as opposed to buying it out of want, not necessarily necessity.
My question to you, Dwayne, you have backup computer, backup speakers, and a backup controller and mixer?
Yep.
Okay, beautiful. That's all you need. It doesn't have to be the same brand. As long as you have a backup of each piece of equipment, you're fine. Because if you're at a gig, I have to get my van back on the road. I have everything I need in that van in case a speaker goes down, in case a sub goes down, in case wire breaks, whatever. I have a backup of everything with. And a lot of times, I mean, can you get by playing a whole night with one speaker, a power speaker? Yes, you can. Not too many people are really gonna, say if it happens in the middle of the night, like at the middle of the wedding or middle of an event, where adults, most of the time, by that time they're intoxicated, so they're not gonna know the left speaker's out. They're just, they're partying, that's it, so you're okay there. But in the beginning of the night, your speaker blows, you're getting your butt out to the vehicle to get the other speaker in there. I seen DJs that didn't bring a backup computer or didn't bring a backup hard drive, and their hard drive got fried or their computer went down. They're standing like, oh, I got to call my wife. Or I got to call the company. I have to have them send me a backup computer or a backup hard drive. So now there's a half-hour downtime, if not longer.
And at one gig, my first computer went down, and then my second computer went down, and after
Were they
that,
PCs or Mac?
Huh? Those was
Were they
PCs.
That's why.
Yeah, it was the PCs. That's why, because I didn't want to pay. I didn't want to pay all that money for a Mac computer. But after that went down, I was like, I went with the Mac. After that one,
I got it from eBay, man. I got an M2 for about like $1,100.
Mm-hmm.
So Yeah, I mean, I didn't. I usually get my before I would buy everything like super brand new, go right to the Apple store, so waste all this money. Well, it's not waste, but it's just overly expensive for like no reason. But I started getting mine from eBay, a certain retailer where it's refurbished, but like really good refurbished. So yeah, I got an M2 for a pretty good price. I didn't pay. In my MacBook Pro, I paid almost 2,000 for it, and that was from like 7 years ago. And I got an M2 for only 11 something. So
Yep.
Yeah.
But I go to Micro Center. Do you all have a Micro Center where you all are at?
no, I'm about to look them up right now.
Yeah, because we got a Micro
Hey,
Center. It's a big
what-
computer
what-
store. It's like it's like a super version of Radio Shack. And
Okay,
a bunch
we
of
have,
computers
we're
and
lucky.
stuff.
We have a Walmart, we have a Target, and we got a Best Buy here.
Okay.
Remember, I live in northeastern Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I go to a Micro Center, and then I got mine refurbished.
Yeah,
So-
they're the best.
And then Buddy said having good gear helps, but it's a part of the whole package. And that's going right back to what you had said at the beginning. Because if you want certain gigs, you have to look the part, and your equipment has
Right.
to look the part.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, that's super true.
yeah, and then he said Daryl Bennett sells gear. He gets paid for it. So
You got to think where Daryl's living at.
Utah, right?
Yeah, Utah, and I mean, I don't know the population of Utah. I mean, I know it's not overly populated. It's probably the city of Philadelphia has a bigger population than the whole state of Utah. So all the power to him. If he could sell it, that's great. I mean, unbelievable. It's better than somebody selling their playlist that's only a PDF format. No names, but
There's so many DJs doing that. That's why I laugh when you said.
man, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, I do actually. We were talking about it. Oh, I know what you're talking
Playlist, man. So, people are buying this playlist and they think they're getting the music, and it's just the PDF file.
Right. And I feel like, with your experience, and this is another thing too, I think it's important to do. And I started doing this, like the tracks that really work, I go to my Serato and I look and I'm like, all right, I really like, all right, I know this works for this crowd, that works for that crowd. And it kind of like when I was really doing weddings, I would kind of like pick out and then you can Google everything too, like
Oh yeah.
top 200 requested songs, you can really, and then of course you got to ask your bride and groom, you let them know, like, yeah, what are like 20 or 10 songs that would make you get on the dance floor and have a good time. And then you can even go from there and get suggested, like you put their songs in, you can get 10 other suggested songs very similar, but you can really quickly gain an idea of what vibe they want you to create. So yeah, I mean, I get it. It's a hustle that people are selling PDF playlist. It's a nice hustle, but sometimes too, you're just like you'll go off that person, but just because they're telling you this works, you got to know how to play these songs. Like you got to know how to blend them in, when's the right time. You got to understand all that, and that's going to come from the experience, not just downloading someone's PDF.
What I found out, what's been working for me lately, and it's about halfway through the wedding, people are intoxicated, and you throw J-Lo, Let's Get Loud.
Oh yeah, that's a banger.
Like, oh my God. Then you have right after that, or right before, it's like, oh wow, dude, that's it. It's the bomb.
That's a bang.
Yep.
I usually start off with September. If it's older, I usually start off with September. I just know that's just something that's going to bring everybody out. So
yep.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that and see the fact that you know that from experience, man, not from just buying someone's PDF playlist.
Yeah,
There's not wrong if you to compare it, but I feel like the important part is you still have to be able to play the song, so the playlist is not it's not telling you what order to play it in, and you got to figure that out on your own, because again, you are the professional. So
Because when he's typing it up in Word, it's putting everything basically in alphabetical order. So okay, I'll start here.
But then, cause on YouTube, when you see like a school dance gig vlog from people, you can tell how many people had went and saw Envision's video, cause they try to do the same hype talk. You know how he talks to bring in the song in the same order, and you can it doesn't look authentic when they do it. So it's like you got
right.
Because that's why I say all the time. I say that on the round table. We all can get the same hard drive with the same music, but how we DJ it and present it would have a totally different effect.
Yep, it's gonna be different. We all think differently, different vibes.
Yeah.
We see music differently. We see what works differently. So yeah, he's got remix it, man. Put your own spin onto everything. Just do what someone else is doing. Yep. Add your own. Just like you there was a reel that you played to open up, that Ice Cube reel. You know that person took my reel because that's the exact same font, but this happens all the time with a lot of my reels. They'll take my reel, but then take like same font, but then they'll add like their logo onto it. Because I always, if I see something I like, I always add my own caption. I never take anyone's caption, but there's plenty of people that will run with my caption. Sometimes I put my logo on there, they'll take it off and put their logo on there and pretend like it's theirs. But it's But I did that reel because people were telling me that give it up, it's not gonna work. It's been 8 years, it's not gonna work. And I tell people sometimes it might take you 20, but if you really want to be and you're invested, maybe by that 20th year, you might be at the 250,000 mark. You might have the craziest jump, and boom, you just you kept at it. That's I feel like for even for me, the longer I stayed at it, the better everything got. That I keep doing.
Oh God, yeah. Like you said, when you're telling cool thing, like he has to get out of his area. I got a call from a couple down in Allentown.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with Allentown.
And actually, they were from Lansdale. The mom was up closer to Allentown. And I asked myself, how did you find me? Google. Oh, okay. See? So they asked me, what it was to DJ a wedding, and it was the ceremony and the reception. The reception, altogether, it came out to like 4 hours. Only thing bad about Allentown, there's no park. You got to park 2 blocks away.
Yep.
And I just threw out, I'm like, I don't want to travel around to Allentown. I gave them that price of $4,200, and she's like, okay, I'll send you the check tomorrow. I'm like, like up here, people are like, oh, $4,200.
Right.
They'll go to multi-op and pay $7,500. But when I got down, I never met the couple, nothing until the day of the wedding. And we communicated stuff, but we face to face, no. So when I got down there, and it was unbelievable to see how this couple just boom paid me 1, 2, 3, and she told me, she goes, "You were the cheapest DJ we contact."
See, and you could have charged more. See?
Oh yeah, I was like, oh my God, So yep. I go all over. Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
I'm okay. I'm 45 minutes. I used to live 20 minutes from. I went to Camden Catholic in Cherry Hill, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know where Fort Dix is?
Yes, I do. Yep.
Okay. My cousin was a sergeant major out there.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So yeah, you got some Jersey roots, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice. Cherry Hill. Yeah, Guitar Center, man. That's my start, man.
Yeah, I said
that's awesome.
Guitar Center, Music PA.
Yep, and then there was a Sam Ash in Cherry Hill too, but the Sam Ash,
I love
all the Sam Ash is shut down. But yep.
CC Sounds, you ever deal with them?
I've heard of CC Sounds. No, I actually never shopped with them, but yeah, I've heard of CC Sounds.
They are great. I've never had no problems. I live in northeastern PA. I ordered today. It's here tomorrow. And if you have a problem with it, they send you an RMA, and I kept the new product before the old product goes out. Like, you got 30 days to send it back to us. I'm like, yeah, but you're sending me a new one out, getting the old one back. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Nice.
All right. So,
Where
buddy,
do you get your stuff?
huh?
Where do you get your stuff from, bud?
Guitar Center, Sweetwater online, and occasionally I go to, I think ZZ Sounds or
Okay.
Musician Friends. Or it's one of those
Yeah,
where you don't
with the
have
magazine. There's
Yeah.
some friends.
So
Yep.
where you don't need a credit card, you can basically get financed through them.
What I like about ZZ Sounds, it's pay as you play, and there's 0% interest.
Yeah, I think
And there's
it's
no credit check
it's
either.
I think this is that one.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. I do B&H too, and
Yeah.
I did DJ Hollywood. That's where I got the B Humpner
Okay.
3 table. First time I ordered from them.
I bought a lot of
pretty good.
photography equipment through. This is going back when I was in high school and college. I went to school for commercial art, graphic design, so I bought a lot of photography equipment through B&H.
Nice.
So Buddy has said I get custom laptops. That way I can get what I need and want. And I have 2 micro centers where he's in Chicago. And then he said he get his PCs from Xidax, Xidax. I never heard of that.
Xidax.
Yep.
They build custom computers for him.
Okay.
But I'm not knocking PCs. I'm on a PC right here. I have 2 Macs right here. So it depends how you treat them. It's like
That's true.
it's same thing as raising an animal. You could have a poodle, or you could have a Rottweiler, and you could have that poodle be as mean as pie, and the Rottweiler could be as tame as could be. So it's how you treat anything.
Yep. And then he says he shops at Sweetwater, Buddy, because it has the 36 and 48 months, same as cash.
Yeah.
Yep. So the next myth, and our last myth, is you got to be in a major city to get work, and we kind of like answer that you don't.
False.
Yep.
That's definitely false. I mean,
Big time false.
Mhm.
When I lived in New York, I'm getting way more work now. And when I lived in New York, I was starving, hungry, DJing every weekend. Wasn't even making $2,000 a month. Like, it was crazy, man. So that's completely false, man.
Yep.
That's
Especially
my
with
buddy
the
Tyler.
internet. Yeah, because I was gonna say, especially with the internet, you can just promote yourself all over now. It's not like back in the day where you had to go to where you went to like the grocery store and put your little flyer on the front classified thing. So
Yep. Be anywhere, man. You can be in a hole in the wall. Yeah. As long as you got internet, good marketing, and you sound good. And some people, you don't even sound good. The marketing's so good that it draws people in.
that my buddy Tyler, that I referred people to him if I was booked. He had all the dreams of being a club DJ, so he moved to New York City, and clubs that he was DJing at, and he sent me some videos. I'm like, dude, these aren't clubs; these are just underground trash centers. And honestly, I mean, you see the men and the women that were dancing the way they were dancing. I'm like, oh Lord, this is a triple X video basically with clothing on.
Sex clubs.
What he started doing then is he's into a lot of reggae music, being from Jamaica or Jamaican music, and he started DJing for some radio station, I think, out of Philadelphia, but everything was done out of his apartment in New York City. And then he just uploaded his set to them. So I mean, he made ends meet, but then it was getting tougher and tougher. He was working at FedEx. He was putting hours on top of hours, and he had a wife, 2 young children. So he decided to join the Air Force, which I'm praying for his safety with everything going on in the world today. I mean, he's a great dear friend of mine, and I don't want to see nothing happen to him.
All right, and then our official clock watcher said we're coming up on 2 hours, and we're at the last segment of our show, and I'm glad La Ruckus Entertainment had joined us because they got their own podcast. start to spin, which is from 9 to 10. I'm glad they were able to join us tonight, because we got to hook up and do like a crossover of some type. It would be cool for us to be able to do it at the same time, where our audience can see us while their audience can also see them, somehow be able to stream to the multiple streams.
Wayne, does Twitch allow you to go more than an hour, or is it just an hour on Twitch?
I don't know. I thought you can go as
long as you want.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, because I'm just seeing buddies comment. We're up on 2 hours. I'm like, I'm having fun.
Because that's I kept looking at the clock. I kept sweating once you start talking. I was like, we can end. Because I didn't want to jinx it and say, oh, we can end it. It's like 2:45. But let's go ahead and end it, because we can carry on our conversation as well.
Yes, definitely.
Afterwards. Again, we're up to our shout outs. And our shout outs for this week goes to DJ Reese, our guest.
Yes.
Our guest on our show tonight. And you can reach him here at We Create the Vibe. Is it WeCreateTheVibes.com. Also, there's his Instagram handle at the top. It's _ DJ Reese _ because he has his own podcast that's real informative as well. And then also, again, let's give a shout out to DJ Cool Thing, and his is at DJ Cool Thing Official. And then he has his own podcast, which I'll talk about in a second. And if you haven't joined our Facebook group page yet, you can join our Facebook group page by searching up cueitup DJ Podcast. You can either join the public group or the private group. Public group is where I post most of our stuff. And I try to only post, since it seems like the private group is made up of the big time DJs. I don't post like a little stuff that I didn't think would be meaningful to them. But there's the long URL code if you want to type that in, or again, just search up cueitup and join our Facebook group page. And you can also join our social media profiles. You can reach DJ Mikie Mike at DJ Mikie Mike on Twitter, DJ Mikie Mike 45 on Instagram, and at DJ Mikie Mike on Facebook. And mine is at HitmanDDub on all of my social networks. And as I was saying a little bit earlier, we have a group called the DJ Collective Network, where it's one culture, many voices. Welcome to our primetime DJ lineup, a weekly schedule of live stream shows built for DJs by DJs. Whether you're just starting out or scaling your business, we got the knowledge, stories, and inspiration to help you level up. And so each day there's something new. On Mondays at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. For every DJ chasing dreams, no matter the odds, it's your time to spend with DJ Cool Thing. And then on Tuesdays at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch, join Buddy and his weekly guest panel of DJs for unfiltered conversations that matter. It's the DJ Roundtable with Buddy from TBM Productions. Real DJs, real stories, real lessons, all at the Roundtable. And then he posts a replay of the Twitch live stream on YouTube on his channel, which is at TBM Productions DJ 1, every Monday at 1 o'clock. And then on Wednesdays, we have the DJ Biz School with Sean, DJ Night Owl. It's not just about spinning tracks, it's about spinning success. Learn the business side of DJing, branding, marketing, SEO, and strategy with DJ Night Owl. And then on Thursdays, you have the Cued Up DJ podcast with me, the HitmanDDub, and DJ Mikie Mike at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. And next week, we have another special guest, and it's DJ Crossfire. And we'll be doing the Transformer thing, and we'll be talking about DJing in two worlds. We're going to take a look at US DJs versus UK DJs and see, are we alike or different, and how much alike and different are we? So that'll be next week's episode. And then before we head on out, it's the fade out message. And our fade out message for tonight is, you're one post away from your next booking. Make it count. So I wrote down some like key bulletin points that I got from DJ Reese tonight. His one thing was, position yourself to get the kind of gigs you want, and you gotta stay consistent and keep at it no matter how tough it looks. If you stay consistent with it, and also like what we were telling DJ Cool Thing, believe in yourself, it'll eventually happen. Because like what he was saying, it could take 5 years, it could take 10 years. But if you wait and decide after 9 years, giving up, who knows? The day that you gave up could be the day that could be your turning point. So, did you all have anything you want to say before you head on out?
Yeah. I had a great time with Reese here. Thank you for being here with us. I learned a lot just from our conversation yesterday and tonight on the show. Unbelievable, man. You're a great DJ, great person too.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate both of y'all. Thank you for having me on. And yeah, I learned a lot tonight too from both of y'all. And man, y'all are amazing, man. Keep doing. Don't stop with the podcast. Really keep informing the community. Guys really compliment each other very well. And I love what y'all doing. Don't stop. Keep at it. Yep. Seriously.
Thank God I'm the quiet one.
Man, yo, your story, man.
Did I
know you have so many stories, man. Like I definitely want to hear. Yo, you're funny. I like your energy.
You went to Catholic school, you said?
Yeah. I'm born Catholic, man.
So nice. That's why I talk a lot. In school, we weren't allowed to say nothing.
Right.
Quarter. Man,
my mom used to be a nun, so I have priests in my family. So yeah, church every first Friday.
Yeah.
I went to a Franciscan college too for 2 years. So yeah.
Did you? Oh man. Yeah. Great. That's great. That is great. I DJ at our church all the time, so I mean it's
nice.
The priest is, if you look at him, he looks like he's a very stern person, but he's so kind-hearted, it's unbelievable.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you, fellas, man. I appreciate y'all taking the time to have me on. It was a lot of fun.
We want you back.
Yeah,
that's all I
I would love to come back.
Because I was going to say, because we didn't even scratch the surface of the things that we want to talk about. Because there's so much that we can talk about and inform people. It's like, yeah, we got to have you back on. Yep.
And I'd love to get y'all on too for the podcast as well, man. Because of you, I bought some more new gear, got a whole new table. Stream Deck comes in tomorrow. I want to start getting on Twitch. So yeah, I'm trying to figure things out and configure, got a capture card coming in tomorrow, so yeah, trying to figure it out, man.
So we can add you to our DJ Collective network.
Yeah, I would love to be at it, man.
Okay, because we don't have anything on Friday. Maybe I'll tell everybody to go watch it, because you still have videos up on your channel. I got a ton of. I don't know if y'all what's her name, DJ Rachel Lynch, very big in the community. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I even had a guy I think he's in Houston now, but he was WizKid's DJ. He's from Nigeria. What else? I had a couple. I had a radio personality actually for Boom Philly 103.9. He's still on the radio. So I had quite a few amazing guests. So yeah, I just want to start talking more, just giving a little more about my experience, because
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel like, you know, DJing has to be one particular way. And I feel like the more I started paying attention to other people, my mind started really evolving and realizing like, hey, if you treat this like a business, it actually will become a business. And I think that's the main thing. That's the one thing I really wanted to tell DJ Cool Thing is like, you know, it's all about your perspective and how you see things. And don't be scared to learn from other people. I think that's the main thing. Like once you can learn from other people and see what they're doing and then add your own spin onto it, you really start seeing things differently and you can really make things happen. You know?
Yeah. Oh, that's the truth. 1000%.
Yeah. Before we head on out, again, we had Las Rockas Entertainment. They said good messages. And then Buddy said, you can bring me in. And then he laughed because we're supposed to do a follow up with Buddy as well coming up.
Really? I didn't know that.
Shout out to Buddy. Never met you, but shout out to you, man.
Yep. Oh yeah, because you were busy doing something, so you kind of like missed our because we missed you in the chat on the round table.
Yeah, yeah. That's when I had a shot in my lower back on Tuesday, and I was out today. I went to get the shots in my. There are different types of shots in my back, and since I got this little beast thing, it's a little infected. They told me it could turn septic, and it's just sudden death.
Yep.
So I want to stay above ground, looking down at the daisies. I don't want to be down below the ground, pushing them up. You know.
Right.
All right, so we can ready to head on out before we go in. It'll be 3 hours, and La Ruckus. Let's go
can't
out.
play me tonight.
Yep. Let's go out on La Ruckus Entertainment's comment. He says, we always got to stay coachable. Yep.
Yes.
Right.
So remember, before it's time to spin, you got to first cue it up. Take care. Have a happy 4th of July. And make sure you go out there and crush those gigs.
Peace, everyone.
Great holiday.
I'ma rise like the sun while the world still sleeps. Scouring the sights looking for new leads. Marathon gigs with no in between. Your worth is from a rear view they seen. They wanna party, but I'm battling fatigue, chasing passion while my mental is still out on leave. It's an everyday hustle, so respect the DJ life. We make it look easy, but the pressure's tight. Cue up the pressure. Got a story to tell. Dreams in the booth where the DJs dwell. Clubbing is a struggle like it's all I've got. Set it up, break it down, travel to the next spot. Ambitions, the engine stay sharp like a tool. Revving through my gigs, power drinks is fuel. It's an everyday hustle, we'll respect the DJ life. We make it look easy, but the pressure's tight. Pressure. Cue up the pressure.
All right, we're all clear.